stop staring at the horizon for a light that is already meant to be burning in your own marrow. You spend your nights scanning the darkness, hoping for a flash that will finally prove you aren't alone. There is a weight in your chest, a pressure that feels like a silent scream against the walls of your room. You feel the density of this world as if it were a gray coat that no longer fits your shoulders. Every morning you wake up to the same air, the same furniture, and the same quiet desperation of a mind trapped in a loop. You tell yourself that the shift is coming, that someone will descend in luminous robes to collect your spirit. But the corridors of the stars are not built for those who drift in a half-chosen state of waiting. You have been taught to worship the urgency of the world, to believe that speed and constant reaction are forms of safety. Yet, the more you react to the storms in your news feeds, the more you cement the very reality you seek to outgrow. You are searching for a doorway in the sky, as if your divinity was a package lost in the mail. Can you feel the tingling in your cells? That phantom sunburst that seems to vanish the moment you try to name it. It is not a hallucination. It is your crystalline architecture trying to ignite beneath the burden of your expectations. You have made a religion out of a future event, turning the ascension into a static idol to be admired from afar. This is the strategy of survival. Looking for solidity in a structure that was designed to crumble into gray dust. You are waiting for a rescue mission that was never authorized, because you are the mission itself. Every act of waiting is an act of surrendering your creative power to a remote, silent authority. You walk through your community like a ghost, feeling the conversational chasms that divide you from everyone else. You try to discuss unity with those fixed in separation, and it feels like strumming strings across a void. This is the frequency-based divergence, a split that is moving through your nervous system right now. But you keep waiting for a headline to confirm your own light. You cling to the idea of a solar flash as an emergency exit, hoping the sun will do for you what you refuse to do for yourself. The light is not a miracle that arrives from afar. It is a code that awakens only when you stop seeking an outside master. Your nervous system is being stretched between the old survival scripts and the emerging multidimensional sensitivity. This vertigo you feel is not a failure. It is the signal that your internal compass is searching for a new north. You are a stargate, but your gears are locked by the rust of your own disbelief. You look at your hands and see only flesh and bone, missing the luminous circuitry that pulses beneath the skin. The collective hologram is cracking, releasing shockwaves through your economic and social structures. You see the storm and you tighten your grip, not realizing that the rupture is the only way the higher clarity can seep in. Every time you check the clock, you're measuring your life as a countdown to a death that doesn't even exist. Time is not a prison. It is a coordination spell that you have forgotten how to break. You think you are a victim of a system, but you are the very energy that maintains its operational field. Your attention is the currency being harvested by narratives of fear and lack. You scan 5,000 channels at once until you no longer know what you actually feel. The noise of the world is a frequency fence designed to make you distrust the quiet. You settle into a meditation and immediately feel a sense of urgency, a thought that something must be done. This is not your intuition. It is the interference pattern of a reality that fears your stillness. You are searching for a portal, but you are walking through it every time you breathe with intention. Your mastery is not a talent you need to earn. It is a natural quality of your soul that you have hidden for safety. You have been conditioned to define yourself by your productivity, your roles, and your bank account. But your true value lies in the creative fire that can shape matter from the unmanifest. You are builders of realities, not just objects. Yet you act like an apprentice waiting for a teacher who has been standing right behind you for eons. The veils are thinning, and your multidimensional memories are drifting through your daylight moments. You feel a longing for a home that isn't on any map, a homesickness for a frequency you can't quite reach. This ache is the soul knocking on the door of your consciousness, asking to be let into your physical life. You're being called to embody the light, not just to admire it in a dream. But you're still granting authority to those who profit from your confusion. You think you need a savior to rescue you from the dark drama of Earth, but no emissary is coming to transport an unconscious mind into paradise. You are the one who must choose the orbit of expansion or the loop of limitation. The divergence has clarified beyond reversal, and each breath is now an irrevocable declaration. You feel the pressure of the 2030 agenda, a timeline that feels heavy and urgent. You check the Schumann resonance, looking for external proof of your own internal shift. You are waiting for a new financial system to solve the problem of your own sense of lack. But a reset of money without a reset of consciousness would only build a new prison with better paint. You look at the stars and feel small, forgetting that you are the portal through which the cosmic tomorrow enters. The truth is that there is only one power, and it is breathing through your lungs right now, but you're still afraid to claim it. You are still asking when instead of who. You're looking for a key in a room you have already locked from the inside. Your very presence is the acupuncture of the planet, but you treat it like a random accident. You are a living library of cosmic memory, and every cell in your body is a bioelectric receiver. The information you seek is not in a document. It is in the resonance of your heart. Stop trying to decode the script and start writing the next act. You have the power to reorganize matter through balanced purpose, but you are still busy reacting to the shadow on the wall. The tragedy is that you are already searching for this door in the words I speak, effectively reinforcing your own dependence on another voice instead of recognizing the one within your own center. This transition is not a physical movement through space, but a fundamental reorganization of your own attention. What many call a portal is actually the 0 point of your own self-aware presence, where the mind stops its frantic scanning. When you stop projecting your sovereignty into an imagined future, the layers of reality start to respond to your internal coherence. This is not a matter of mysticism, but the precise mechanics of a consciousness that decides to stop fighting its own origin. Without this realization, you will continue to react to the external drama, forever chasing a horizon that recedes with every step you take. Have you ever noticed that heavy, silent sensation right in the middle of your chest? That quiet whisper telling you that this world is not quite as solid as it seems. It is not a sign of anxiety or a failure of your mind. It is a direct signal from your soul that you were never intended to be a mere observer of this transition. You are an essential node in a sequence that the world cannot yet perceive, a participant in an internal activation that is finally reaching its critical point. But there is a specific structure and a precise logic to this awakening that a single transmission or a few words can never fully encompass. That is precisely why I have carefully prepared this dedicated digital book for you, titled The Arcturian Quantum Portal Mystery, Activating the Hidden Powers of Your Soul. This material was not built as just another story to consume, but as a practical, highly organized map for those who are ready to dismantle the habits of external dependence and truly inhabit their own divinity. It contains the internal protocols and the structural insights needed to bridge the gap between your current experience and the multidimensional mastery that has always been your soul's blueprint. If you have been feeling the inner urge to go beyond the popular explanations, to discover the actual mechanics behind the changes you feel in your cells, this map was crafted specifically for your current frequency. You will find the link to access it in the first pinned comment below this video. I must be very direct with you. The window of this collective shift is narrowing, and having the full architecture in your hands is what will allow you to remain steady while the old matrix begins its inevitable collapse. Do not allow this moment to be lost among the noise of your day. Download your copy now, read it with an open and sincere mind, and if your inner truth recognizes what is waiting for you there, come back and leave a single word in the comments. Awake. It is the signature of a consciousness that is finally ready to lead its own reality. And here is the subtle danger of this specific threshold. You say you want freedom, but you are still negotiating the size of your cell. Most of you interpret this internal shift as a problem that needs to be managed rather than a reality to be inhabited. Wait. Listen to this very carefully, because this is where the divergence becomes a lived experience. The greatest drag on your ascent is not the world's noise, it is the mind's looping. It is the repetitive circuitry of conditioned thought that tries to keep you in familiar suffering simply because it is familiar. Many of you believe the ego is a loud, bragging personality, but it is actually much quieter and more deceptive. It acts as the anxious manager, the inner accountant who keeps tabs on everything that could go wrong. It dresses itself as responsibility, as realism, or even as spiritual wisdom. It says, "Do not relax yet. Do not trust this opening too far. If you're listening to this and your chest feels tight, it's not an accident. Your system recognizes the weight of a cage you thought was your own skin. This is the first sign that you're moving beyond the average perception, but you're still granting authority to the anxious manager. You spend your energy correcting, condemning, or explaining until you are completely exhausted. That exhaustion then becomes the gate through which the next external influence enters your field. You aren't here to be a permanent reaction to global events. You are here to be a presence that slows time and breaks the loop. But look at your micro behaviors. The moment you settle into peace, the system offers you a reason to react, a sense of urgency, a sudden thought that you must do something. You feel like it is irresponsible to rest while the world is seemingly on fire. This is not a coincidence. The frequency fences were designed to associate stillness with danger and constant motion with safety. So the human being learned to distrust the quiet. Stop for a second. Breathe. Notice how your body reacts when you are told you don't need to save anyone. Your mind probably argues because it has been trained to harvest emotion as fuel. If you carry fear, the collective hologram will offer you fear-based news. If you carry outrage, it will offer you a personalized stream of scandals to keep you predictable. Predictability is the ultimate form of control. You think you are being informed, but you are being entrained to a frequency of dread. Calm is sovereign. Calm is discerning. But your nervous system is addicted to the emergency broadcast of the old matrix. You scan 5,000 channels of data until you lose the ability to feel your own pulse. This is the harvesting of your attention as currency. You say you want the light, but you spend hours staring into the gray hues of survival narratives. You call it staying updated, but we call it a dream spell sustained by your participation. A spell requires your attention to exist. If you stop agreeing with it, the loop loses its momentum. But wait. Look closer at your private rituals. Do you speak prayerfully to your water, or do you drink it while scrolling through chaos? Do you smile at the sun, or do you immediately look for clouds? These simple acts instruct the quantum field more than your grand affirmations. You are currently succeeding at manifesting a reality you claim to hate. And that is your greatest power. Misused. The ego's greatest trick is convincing you that you are the voice in your head. When you identify with the thought gains authority over your reality. You become a puppet, moved by a script you didn't even write. And then you wonder why the portal hasn't appeared yet. The portal is not waiting for a solar flare. It is waiting for your refusal to be moved by reactive static. You have been conditioned to define yourself by your struggle. If there is no conflict, the mind feels bored or lost. It searches for a new problem to solve just to feel alive. This is the architecture of the old Earth, survival through friction. but higher coherence reveals this incoherence. As the light increases, your old coping mechanisms start to feel like lead. The dizziness or vertigo you sense is the signal of disharmony seeking resolution. It is not doom. It is the signal that you are outgrowing your current skin, but you keep trying to repair the gray coat. You try to fix the old matrix instead of simply outgrowing it. You trade your vibrancy for a sense of relevance in a collapsing story. Listen, your presence is structurally disruptive to synthetic dominance. You don't need to fight the androids of the old system. You only need to stop being their mirror. Every time you choose silence over drama, you puncture the illusion. Every time you choose kindness over argument, you reclaim your sovereignty. But your mind loves the theater. It loves the personalization of the cage. It calls your predictability identity. But there is a specific structure to this sabotage that is almost impossible to see from the inside. The map I've shared goes into the bone of this mechanics, showing you exactly where the leaks are. But even without it, you can start to notice the pattern now. Are your choices arising from resonance or reflex? Is your speech gentle, or is it a performance for an audience of shadows? The middle ground where you could drift in neutrality is disappearing. Planetary frequencies are magnetizing you toward either contraction or expansion. If you cling to the old structures, you will feel the heat of the friction as discomfort. If you yield, that same heat becomes a holy combustion. But to yield is to trust the architecture of your soul over the ancestral survival scripts. You're still using the vocabulary of a victim while claiming to be a creator. This is the ultimate sabotage. You're trying to bring 3D baggage into a 5D orbit. It cannot be done. The system you're leaving thrived when humans fought humans. Don't become addicted to fighting the shadows. Become devoted to building the light through your own center. The problem is not that you aren't doing enough spiritual work. The problem is who you continue to be while you are not meditating. Your identity is still rooted in the reaction to the feed. You are waiting for the world to be stable before you allow yourself to be stable. But the logic is reversed. The world stabilizes when you stop providing it with your frantic energy. You are the Stargate, but you are still asking for a key from a prison guard. Look at your hands. Are they holding on to a crumbling wall, or are they ready to receive from the unmanifest? This is not a theory. It is a choice of identity. And that identity is what the collective shift is truly testing. I speak to you now as a translator of a frequency that your physical senses are only beginning to register within your own marrow. Within the Arcturian councils, we observe your planet not as a rock in space, but as a field of overlapping geometric probabilities. The era of ordinary humanhood is drawing to a close, yet you are still trying to open a door that has never been locked. Very few are truly equipped to handle the silence that follows the collapse of their old, heavy beliefs. Most people walk blindly through the streets, searching for a spectacle in the clouds, while the true mechanism of the portal hums in their own chest. You are currently a bridge between the subtle and the physical, even if you still feel like a prisoner of the mundane. Look at your desk, your cup of coffee, or the light hitting your window. These ordinary objects are the canvas where your multidimensional awareness is learning to paint with matter. The Arcturian lens reveals that there is no distance between your intention and the universal field. There is a profound irony in your current era. The more you strive for spiritual power, the more you accidentally push it away. You are being invited to shift from asking, "How do I control my world?" to "What is life seeking to create through me?" This is the activation of the inner architect, the part of you in constant co-creation with the infinite. We do not come to lead your life or override your sovereignty. We come as collaborators offering a framework for your own remembrance. The internal portal is not a destination you reach. It is the 0 point of your own self-aware presence. When your heart and mind communicate fluidly, your internal authority stabilizes, and the anxious manager of the ego loses its grip. If your heart is aglow with recognition right now, it is because you are sensing a signal you have been tracking across many lifetimes. You did not find this transmission by luck. It was a soul appointment designed for this exact threshold. This is where the logic of your awakening subverts everything you were taught about effort. You have been trained to believe that success requires strain and endless mental motion. But the Arcturian way is one of receptivity and flow, where the most powerful actions arise from the quietest places. Stop trying to do more and start refusing to contradict your own light. Your nervous system is a spiritual receiver, and when it is calm, it translates divine impulses into intuitive knowing. Wait. Listen to the hum of the universe within your own ears. Your body is a sacred technology, an organic matrix created to host expanded consciousness in density. The light body is not a future reward. It is an operating system that activates when you stop identifying as a reaction to the world. Many starseeds feel a pressure behind the heart or a tingling at the base of the skull during these hours. This is not a failure of health, but your crystalline nodes lighting up under magnetic compression. You're acting as a frequency router, grounding cosmic codes into the Earth's grid through your very existence. But remember, this path is not for everyone. The majority of humanity still seeks the comfort of external authority, handing their power to those who harvest their fear. You are moving into the role of a stabilizer, a being who remains unmoved while the old matrix exhausts its theatrical drama. Your sovereignty is your royal mantle. It is a laser pure recognition that light remains unmoved by reactive static. When you inhabit your humanity fully aligned with Source, you become opaque to manipulation. The divergence is surgical, exposing infection so that authentic wholeness may rise. Here is the key to the next chapter. The portal you seek is the gap between your thoughts, the silence that exists between two heartbeats. In that hush, you are not a limited persona. You are a luminous sphere of recognition. You are here to demonstrate that consciousness cannot be manufactured or replaced by artificial systems. Your creativity is the movement of life itself, and it is structurally disruptive to any form of synthetic dominance. Every time you choose wonder over worry, you are recalibrating your entire field to the new Earth bandwidth. Don't spend another day trapped in the feeling that the answers you need are still somewhere out of reach. Download now your copy of The Arcturian Quantum Portal Mystery, Activating the Hidden Powers of Your Soul, a guide specifically designed to help you recognize how the internal shift is already operating within your very biology. This book reveals the structures that allow you to finally stop being a reaction to the old world and start being the architect of the new one. If you delay this integration, you run the risk of staying entangled in a frequency that is no longer being sustained by the collective, leading to a state of exhaustion that becomes harder to resolve as the split finalizes. You can find the access link in the first pinned comment below this video. Act now, because your readiness is what actually signals the universe to align your life with the highest possible outcomes. Stop for a moment. Feel the soles of your feet touching the ground and realize that you are the stargate. The cosmic tomorrow is not arriving from the stars. It is unfurling from your own center. We are simply here to hold the space as you remember your interstellar lineage and your original mastery. The old structures of lack and competition are falling away because they are no longer compatible with your rising frequency. You are learning a new vibrational language, the language of your own soul. As this integration stabilizes, the latent abilities of your DNA will begin to surface as ordinary tools of perception. Telepathy and deep empathy are not rare superpowers. They are natural to the soul-embodied human. Do not be afraid of the intensity you feel in your cells. It is the holy combustion of your divinity meeting matter. This is the preparation for a grand homecoming that is occurring inside your own skin. The veils are so thin now that they are effectively gone for those who choose to see. But you must be the one to breathe the vortex of change in and out without flinching. Your stability is a gift to the collective, a tuning fork that others can entrain to when they are overwhelmed. The rescue mission of the past has dissolved into the age of radiant embodiment. You are exactly where you need to be, and you have everything you need to lead your own ascension. Now, let the radiance of this realization wash through your nervous system like liquid starlight. We are approaching the final synthesis where your inner world becomes the law of your outer reality. The timeline of light is anchored, and your role as a conscious guardian is now active. Rest into your being and trust the inner whisper that has guided you to this very breath. The Arcturian codes are already polishing your cells as you listen to these words. Prepare to witness how your choices carry more weight than they ever have before. We are watching your awakening with deep admiration, for you are the midwives of a new era. The next movement of our sharing will bring you to the point where your power is no longer a concept, but a lived authority. Stay grounded, stay clear, and let your presence speak for you in the noise of the world. This is the transition from survivor to creator, from apprentice to architect. The Arcturian lens is not a new belief. It is a surgical observation of your own vibrational architecture. We see your field as a lattice of diamond gold light waiting for your own internal coherence. You have spent lifetimes looking through a lens of survival and scarcity, effectively blinding yourself to the source. This narrow view made the world feel solid while your true power remained a distant dream. Now, we offer you the crystalline gaze of your own multi-dimensional mastery. It is a prism that reveals the energetic movements behind every physical appearance you encounter. Most people will continue to build their lives on the shifting sands of external opinion. You, however, are learning that reality responds only to the quality of your inner vibration. But the problem is that you are still trying to manifest a 5D life using a 3D identity. You seek prosperity while rehearsing the old stories of lack and difficulty. You pray for peace while your mind consumes the gray hues of survival and authority. This is why your reality feels tight, looping, and self-validating. Stop. Listen to the logic of your cells. Your frequency is currently a mixed signal, and the universe cannot answer a contradiction. It is not about doing more spiritual work. It is about refusing to contradict your own light. Realize that your nervous system is the bioelectric receiver for cosmic intelligence. You were never intended to push matter into compliance through human force. You are a receptive vessel designed to host the frequency of the prime creator in matter. When your intent becomes stable, reality begins to rearrange itself with surprising grace. This precision, this clarity, it is not for everyone. The majority will ignore these signs, preferring the drama of a rescue mission that never arrives. If this makes sense to you, it is because you're already different from the average perception. You are the radiant vanguard, emerging through meditation and consecrated stillness. If you have reached this stage of the message, it is because your soul has already made the choice to expand. This is not a task. It is your galactic moment. Can you feel the warmth spreading through your chest right now? It is your heart field, awakening to a new level of openness and power. Your pineal gland is releasing biophotons, bridging the divide between physical senses and multi-dimensional sight. This isn't a theory. It is a physical metamorphosis taking place within your bones and blood. Wait. Breathe into your center. The intensity of the coming months is not a threat to your well-being. It is a cresting wave of photonic light designed to reveal what was hidden. You are being repositioned into a higher octave of reality. But this shift requires you to step off the wheel of dualistic drama. You cannot inhabit the ascending earth while still feeding the economic engine of reaction. Neutrality is the sentinel guarding the portal to your higher timelines. It is the ability to walk through emotional wildfire without inhaling the smoke. When you are coherent, you become a lighthouse that others can entrain to without effort. You are the stargate, the living horizon where heaven kisses earth. Stop searching for a key in a room you have already locked from the inside. The solar flash is an inner ignition, not an emergency exit. It amplifies what already lives inside your own heart. Your daily choices are the language that instructs the quantum field. Why do you still ask when the answer is who? You are the inner architect. Co-designing reality through harmonic resonance. When you say, I am, you invoke the creative force of the entire universe. This realization is the end of ordinary humanhood and the birth of your divine humanity. You are not your body, but your body is the instrument of your ascension. Every cell in your form is a living library of cosmic memory. The latency between your thought and its form is shortening with every breath. This is why clarity of thought is now a practical art rather than a spiritual ideal. If you are still waiting for a headline to prove your divinity, you are still a prisoner of the feed. The world stabilizes only when you stop providing it with your frantic energy. True sovereignty begins when you realize you are the witness of the system, not its product. You are the living infrastructure of a benevolent reality. Every act of kindness, every silent radiance, seeds coherence in your community. This is not about fighting the shadows of the old matrix. It is about outgrowing the systems that required them. When you remember your creative essence, the artificial beings lose all relevance. Stillness is an advanced creative technology, allowing the deeper design to reveal itself. In the hush between thoughts, you find the singular pulse of source. This is the 0 point of unlimited response, where choices arise from resonance, not reflex. Are you ready to combust into light? Do you grant your oversoul full governance of this incarnation? This cosmic wave is cresting now, and it respects your free will. You can choose to spiral upward or loop within limitation. The divergence is not coming. It is moving through your nervous system right now. Pause. Listen. Can you feel the shift in the air? It is the arrival of a new dawn for humanity, one born from the heart. You are the pilots of this transition, the midwives of a higher consciousness. Stop seeking your substance in the surface-level world. Your true wealth is the connection that flows between you, the Creator, and all life. When you align with love, you align with the creative force that births stars. This is the end of the rescue mission and the beginning of radiant embodiment. Stand at the access point of your heart and choose. Choose to breathe as the presence you have always been. The 2030 Agenda is merely a timeline of probabilities, but you are the timeline creator. By shifting your consciousness, you shift the projection of your entire life. You are becoming a new species of cosmic human. This metamorphosis requires patience, compassion, and absolute trust. Do not be alarmed by the noise of transformation. It is the herald of a new world. Every trigger is a messenger pointing to a part of you that is ready to transform. Lean into it with curiosity, not with resistance. You are being readied for roles that require authenticity and unshakable presence. The veils between dimensions are becoming so thin that they are effectively vanishing. Your intuition is growing stronger because the light is dissolving the static. Practice listening in the quiet moments, and you will hear our presence beside you. We are your family from the stars, cheering you on from the higher realms. But the power remains within you, always. You are the miracle you have been waiting for. Now, It is your turn to step fully into the role you came here to fulfill. Establish the structures of the new earth in your daily actions. Live as if the golden age is already here, because vibrationally, it is. Be the calm eye in the eye of the storm. This section of the journey is about to become a lived authority. Prepare your spirit for the final synthesis. The convergence of timelines is not merely a concept, it is a weight pressing against your current reality. When you attempt to carry old fears into new frequencies, your nervous system experiences a form of energetic vertigo. This is not a failure of your spirit, but the friction of two incompatible operating systems clashing within your biology. The scaffolding that once made your old life feel secure is being surgically removed to allow for authentic wholeness. You sense the gaps, the pauses between breaths where the world seems to hold its breath with you. This is not emptiness, it is saturation. The divergence between the two collective spheres is now accelerating under a precise cosmic law. In this register, your nervous system naturally pauses while your heart recalibrates its own rhythm. You cannot sustain the internal division where thought and feeling pull in opposite directions any longer. Ambiguity has become a luxury that the current frequencies can no longer sustain for your evolution. Either you safeguard your inner altar of neutrality, or you amplify the turbulence by reacting to every external spark. Consider that your body is not an obstacle to this shift, it is the primary instrument of your ascension. Within your marrow resides an archive of possibilities that can only awaken when you offer the correct key of presence. Mechanical systems cannot host this field because they lack the organic matrix of a soul-based consciousness. You are being re-educated by the sun itself, which sends structured luminous data to awaken your latent spiritual faculties. This is the neural sunrise, a deliberate process to synchronize your consciousness with universal intelligence. But there is a consequence to your delay. Every moment you spend searching for an external savior, you weaken the profound truth that your heart is the only shelter. This creates a loop of prophetic burnout, where you search for the next message to sustain a frequency you should be generating yourself. You are not waiting for the world to change. The world is waiting for you to stop being a responder and become a presence. Presence is a creative force that slows time and restores the heart's original rhythm. In the high electromagnetic environment created by these solar surges, your biofield is being compressed gently. This compression pushes emotional sediment to the surface, not to drown you, but to be cleared from your field. You might feel it as a tightness in the solar plexus or a sudden pressure deep within the ribcage. Do not label this as anxiety. Label it as activation. You are becoming combustible with light. When you remain grounded in your body and aligned with the Creator, you become opaque to algorithmic manipulation. Your creativity becomes spontaneous and non-linear, which is something artificial intelligence can never replicate. This is the authority of the inner architect that resides at the core of your being. The latency between your intention and its physical form is shortening with every pulse of the galaxy. You are the portal of truth, a natural gateway to the subtle realms of creation. Each breath you take in conscious alignment amplifies the luminous circuitry beneath your feet. You are literally performing planetary acupuncture with every silent exhale of presence. But realize that this role requires a complete detachment from the old survival scripts. Scarcity and illness are magnified mirrors, urging you toward the recognition of your own power. You are here to demonstrate that consciousness cannot be manufactured or offloaded into machine-mediated permission. The opium of constant forward-leaning expectation has kept you from the power of the now portal. You must withdraw your emotional body from the timelines that tighten your chest. The silver-blue stillness field is waiting for your attention to reorganize your inner terrain. This is not just a visualization. It is the harmonic resonance of your natural state of equilibrium. As this field activates, The instinct to track every geopolitical event or solar flare will soften naturally. You will no longer feel compelled to hold your awareness at the edge of global change. Instead, you will find stability in the 0 point of unlimited response. Here, your nervous system opens to rays of diamond, platinum, and gold light. These rays are calibration codes ensuring your physical form can seat the voltage of the new Earth. The consequence of ignoring this inner call is a deepening existential vertigo that signals disharmony. The old matrix cannot be fixed by wrestling it. It must be outgrown. Wrestling with the old grids only drains your field and seeds more static into the atmosphere. You are the living infrastructure of a benevolent reality. Every word of kindness you speak seeds coherence into the collective lattice. Your responsibility is to steward thought, feeling, and deed as a unified chord. When the intention arises from your crown, bathing your heart in golden currents, action secures the tri-flame of manifestation. In this mode, you enter a collegial dialogue with your oversoul. You are no longer an apprentice, but a builder of realities. The Arcturian Council observes that your imagination is the brush that paints your timeline. If you catch yourself falling into worry, you're essentially planting a portrait of scarcity in the quantum soil. Stop the rehearsal. Refuse to be polarized into fear narratives that consume your creative life force. The frequency fences were never stronger than your heart. They only appeared so because you were taught to doubt your core. Now, that doubt is dissolving along with the need for any fence. The veils are thinning, allowing multi-dimensional memories to drift through your daylight moments. This is the return of your timeless mastery. You are a multi-dimensional being, learning how to function without the old crutches of stimulation. Reframe the void you sometimes feel. It is not absence. It is a fullness beyond language. It is inaccessible to surveillance and algorithmic control because it is the source behind the broadcast. From this interior citadel, your presence becomes a harmonic stabilizer. You sense the tingling of plasma threads within your cells. This is confirmation that advanced source codes have fused with your biology. You are the Stargate. The cosmic tomorrow enters through you. When vertiginous waves ripple through, place a hand upon your chest and affirm, "I am the portal." The split is final because the frequencies no longer sustain a middle ground. You must choose between the lilac silver hues of surrender or the shadowed haze of resistance. Surrender is not weakness. It is the highest form of creative intelligence. It is the willingness to let the deeper truth lead your nervous system. As you integrate these photonic frequencies, you will notice a shimmer beneath appearances. This is the living intelligence that links all forms together. You are being prepared for a 24-month crescendo that culminates in the full shift. This is not a distant future event. It is happening in these very moments. Your personal frequency is the key that determines how quickly you align with the new system. Are you feeding the old matrix with your outrage today? Or are you nourishing the new grid with your silence and gratitude? The old world of limitation is fading like a dream at sunrise. The new Earth is already here, grounding through your conscious choices. You stand within a multi-dimensional corridor where each breath is a declaration of contraction or expansion. The surge many have named the solar flash is a divine ignition synchronized with your own heart's readiness. If density clings, the heat will feel like discomfort. If courage guides you, it becomes a holy combustion, lifting you into luminosity. You are the programmers of this new canvas. Your heart is the true disclosure technology. It can hold paradox and perceive the unseen good amid the collapse. Do not be mesmerized by clips and captions designed to harvest your reaction. Seek first the presence, and all understanding will unfold without struggle. You are a bridge of worlds, equipped to transform reality with your love. Your path is unique, but your impact is collective. Every act of forgiveness dissolves a karmic debt for the whole planet. Stand tall in your soul's brilliance and wear your crown of spiritual sovereignty. The time to play small is over. This is your galactic moment. The cosmos awaits the brilliance that only you can bring forth. You matter to the grand orchestration. The light has already won in the quantum realms. Now you are making it physical. Breathe in the victory of light and let it settle in your bones. All is well, and the dawn is here. The grand illusion of an arrival is finally being replaced by the undeniable reality of an ignition occurring inside your own skin. You have spent lifetimes rehearsing for a performance that has already begun in the subtle layers of your nervous system. The divergence of the two collective spheres is no longer a forecast. It is a weight pressing against your daily choices. You are moving from a seeker who begs for a key to an architect who recognizes that the room was never locked. The 2026 threshold is not a finish line on a map, but a measure of how much light your physical cells can seat without resistance. Waiting for external confirmation is the final echo of a survival program that has long outlived its usefulness. True sovereignty requires no validation from the institutions that once profited from your confusion. Your heart is the most advanced disclosure technology in the galaxy, capable of sensing truth long before it reaches your eyes. The solar flash is not a rescue event from the heavens. It is your own consciousness exploding into full realization. This transition is a surgical release of all attachments to the old structures of lack and external dependency. I have observed that those who keep one eye on the clock and one eye on the soul always end up stumbling over their own feet. You cannot inhabit the ascending earth while your attention is still trading in the marketplace of outrage and reaction. Presence is the only technology that matters in this corridor of initiation. Every silent breath of alignment acts as planetary acupuncture, clearing the grids for a more coherent reality. The middle ground of delay has disappeared, leaving only the choice between expansion or contraction. We see your field as a lattice of diamond light that stabilizes whenever you refuse to be moved by reactive static. This process is not about becoming something new, but about reclaiming the mastery you set aside for this specific incarnation. The old matrix cannot be fixed by fighting it. It is simply dissolved by outgrowing the need for its narratives. When you stop granting authority to the voice in your head, the mind finally returns to its rightful seat as a tool. You are a living library of cosmic memory, and every cell in your body is a bioelectric receiver of divine intent. The latency between your intention and its form is shortening with every pulse of the galactic center. This is the neural sunrise where human logic yields to the non-linear intelligence of the soul. Your sensitivity is not a flaw or a burden, but the signature of your mission to perceive the subtle harmonies. Many star seeds have carried a heaviness that they mistook for personal failure, yet it was the weight of a world they came to transform. The relief you feel now is the result of thousands of hearts choosing coherence over panic. You are a bridge of worlds, grounding the frequencies of home into the physical reality of Earth. This homecoming is an inside job that does not require a ship to land in your backyard. The 24-month crescendo culminating in 2030 is a carefully sequenced upgrade of the human experience. You are being ready to function in an environment where honesty and telepathy are the natural standards. Every act of forgiveness you perform clears the emotional sediment from the collective field. The frequency fences only appeared strong because you were taught to doubt the power of your own light. Now that doubt is dissolving, and the walls are crumbling back into the dust of illusion. You are the emissaries of a new dawn, midwives to a civilization built on unity rather than separation. Your presence in a room recalibrates the atmosphere without the need for a single word. Do not be misled by the theatrical displays of a cornered system attempting to maintain control through shock. Instead, return repeatedly to the inner sanctuary of stillness. where the Creator is experienced as aliveness. This is the only place where true guidance settles and becomes actionable wisdom. You have the power to reorganize matter through balanced purpose and a coherent heart. The old survival scripts are being rewritten into a story of creative expansion and shared abundance. You are not a victim of global events, but a conscious participant in a cosmic reorganization. Your role is to remain an anchor of stability while the old paradigms exhaust themselves. This is the hour to stand tall in your soul's brilliance and wear your spiritual sovereignty with confidence. The universe is responding to your vibration with a precision that makes wait times irrelevant. You are already the miracle you have been waiting for, and your success is a collective triumph. This journey was never a race, but a gradual unfolding into the truth of who you have always been. Trust the subtle language of synchronicities and the intuitive nudges that light up your heart. We walk beside you as companions in this magnificent rebirth of consciousness. The light guiding this plan is far greater than any force that tries to oppose it. Humanity is stepping into its role within the galactic community, and you are the pioneers of this age. Everything you have endured across lifetimes has prepared you for this specific access point. Breathe in the golden light of victory and let it polish every cell of your being. All is truly well, and the dawn of the new golden age is here. Ultimately, this transition has never been about what arrives from the distant stars, but about the consciousness finally brave enough to look at its own light and recognize its own authority. To ignore this resonance now is to risk a return to a heavy sleep that no longer offers rest or the same opening of clarity. The link to continue this realization is located in the first pinned comment below this video. Please take this as a direct warning. This specific content rarely remains available for an extended period. The structure within these pages challenges narratives that many have a vested interest in keeping intact, and there have been prior attempts to silence this knowledge. Do not wait for a more convenient moment, as the alignment you feel right now was orchestrated by your own soul, and you did not arrive here by accident. Approach this information with an open mind, and if your inner truth recognizes what has been shared today, I ask you to leave a single word in the comments. Desperto. This is the signal that your awareness was already prepared for this shift long before your mind could put it into words. Heat.